Dennis Wrigley Ministries, a better way, unity, renewal and healing.
The message of Jesus is a message of liberation. You may say, I'm free already. I don't need your religion. I don't need your Jesus. I'm free. The interesting thing is that on many occasions, I've met people who have been in prison in Russia, in Eastern Europe, and elsewhere, who've come to my own country and remarkably have said, there's an oppression here. People aren't free. And I used to react with objection to that. But the truth of the matter is, if you stop and ponder and ask yourself, am I truly free? To start with, am I free from depression? Am I free from anxiety? Am I free from fear? Am I free from the heavy burden of guilt of the things I've said and done which have been wrong in the past and drag me down? I have to be honest. And I think so many people are being called to be honest today that we're not free. For example, anxiety is now the dominant problem facing doctors all over the Western world. And at the end of the day, when Jesus comes, he comes to set us free from everything. Everything. We become a new creation. We are liberated from the past. Now, to understand this, we've got to go to the Bible, I believe. And I'm going to read it because it's rooted in the book of Isaiah, but it comes on the lips of Jesus. This is what he says. He, that is Jesus, went into the synagogue on the Sabbath day, and he stood up to read. And he was handed the book of the prophet Isaiah. And when he had opened the book, he found the place where it was written, "The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because he has anointed me to preach the gospel to the poor. He sent me to heal the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives, and recovery of sight to the blind, to set at liberty those who are oppressed, to proclaim the acceptable year of the Lord." And then he closed the book, we read here, and he gave it back to the attendant, and he sat down. And the eyes of all who were in the synagogue were fixed on him. And he began to say to them, "Today, this scripture is fulfilled in your hearing." So all bore witness to him and marveled at the gracious words which had proceeded out of his mouth. And they said, "Isn't this Joseph's son?" I believe that those words of the prophet presented by Jesus are just as true now as they were then. He does today heal the brokenhearted and set them free from all their fear of death and dying, and fear of malnutrition, fear of homelessness, fear of all the things which beset humanity today. We're riddled with fear. And he says here, I've come to proclaim liberty to the captives. I know many people who are captives. Drug addicts, captives to cocaine and heroin. People who are captives to obsessive behavior, pornography. People who can't set themselves free from sorrow, fear, or sin. And Jesus comes and he says, my gospel is freedom. You can be free from all these things. To the religious Jews, you can be free from the restrictions of the law. Charles Wesley, in a hymn long years ago, put it this way, that when he came to Christ, my chains fell off. My heart was free. I rose, went forth, and followed thee. For Charles Wesley, the experience was coming out of a prison into the glorious daylight. The people who are spearheading evangelism all over the world today are people who've been there, done it. I meet large numbers of former drug addicts, former paramilitaries, former bank robbers, who have experienced liberation, being set free. And I believe that we're nothing like as free as we imagine ourselves to be. We have all kinds of inner inhibitions. Deep within us, there's mistrust of this group of people, that group of people. We've been hurt and we've never forgiven. And so we're the captives of our unforgiveness. Two final messages from the New Testament about the freedom which makes us into a new creation. John 8, verse 32, you shall know the truth, and the truth will set you free. And then from Galatians 5, verse 1, stand fast in the liberty by which Christ has made us free, and do not be entangled again with a yoke of bondage. My prayer is that the church today may be an instrument of liberation. God bless you.
Dennis Wrigley Ministries, a better way, unity, renewal, and healing. Thank you for watching.